headquarters in Germany, Hosokawa Alpine is located in Augsburg, Bavaria. Since 1987, Hosokawa Alpine has been a wholly owned subsidiary of the Japanese Hosokawa Micron Corporation. The history of Alpine began in 1898 and since then contribute to develop successfully in machines and in systems. Today, the products are exported to every corner of the world. Hosokawa Alpine, with their decades of experience, offers film blowing lines with innovative technology, orientation lines, winders, and all for the specialty, films, and flexible packaging market. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today Dr. Holger Niemeier, Executive Board Member and Executive Vice President, Hosokawa Alpine, who is heading the business segment of the film's extrusion, logging in from Augsburg, Bavaria, Germany. A very warm welcome to the show Insights with Nidhi Verma, Dr. Niemeier.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nidhi. Thank you very much for the invitation to be part of your successful series. I've been personally watching, I would say, a lot of the videos, and yeah, I really like this idea, and yeah, it's a lot of interesting inside view how business is going in those difficult times, and I'm happy to be part of this series. Thank you.
We are extremely happy to have you, Doctor. Thank you so much. I'll jump into the questions. In extrusion, you are known for blown film lines and now MD also. What are the other activities of your organization in machine building and other businesses? Our audience will be very glad to know those insights.
Yeah, so I'm Executive Vice President of Hosokawa Alpine, which is located in the southern part of Germany. Alpine belongs to the global Hosokawa Micron Group, which has locations, offices, test centers all over the world. It's a Japanese company, and Alpine Germany is part of Hosokawa since 1987. There are two core businesses in Hosokawa Group. One is powder and particle processing, means it's machinery business. It's about grinding, milling, classifying, but also compacting of so many things, materials. It's about chemicals, pharmaceuticals, food, like for example, spices, tobacco, any kind of minerals, toner, but also cutting mills for plastics, for plastic waste, edge streams, things like that. And the other business, which is located mainly in Germany and in the US, is blown film extrusion.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Doctor, what are your main markets for extrusion machinery? And where does India stand in terms of your market presence?
Yeah, blown film business is really, it's a global business. When I think about it, there is almost no area of the world where we are not present, really global. From Germany onwards, of course, we started many years back. We started in Europe and in North America, which was the dominant market in the past. But since several or many years, we increased our footprint all over the world. And Asia and India was, of course, also part of the growth strategy for many years now.
Yes. India has been a highly advanced, machinery from European manufacturers, and also has a large manufacturing base with several indigenous manufacturers of blown film lines, and also a lot of Chinese suppliers. How do you see your company's growth prospects in this crowded environment? And why did it take so long for you to come to India?
As I said, in the past, we were very busy in Europe and North America, and some years ago we changed strategy, and so there is growth potential for, let me say, high quality machinery in other countries, as I said, in Asia, in South America, Latin America. There's also, meanwhile, potential growth in African countries. And yeah, as a global company, of course, we increased our footprint also in our activities in India. We have been active in India since many years already. We have a sales office in Chennai, for example, since 2007. It was established, so means we were present, but at one point of time we said, no, Indian market is growing, there is a need really, and we have increased our presence in India. And meanwhile, we have a sales office, we have sales and service guys available in India, and yeah, it's quite successful for us. Yeah, the crowded population of machinery in India, the second part of your question. I would say it's no secret in the industry that there is still a gap between European, I would say, and Indian or Chinese machinery. So I would say in the end, there is not a real competition between local suppliers, machine companies, and Europeans. So if a customer is looking for blown channel machinery, he makes the decision in advance. What are the requirements in terms of output, quality, final product, film quality? So I would say the decision is made in advance to go for European machinery, which is more expensive, which is also not a secret, but has, yeah, as I said, different quality, different output. And yeah, depending on the requirements, customers in India go for European machinery. It also depends on the final application. If you want to serve the global brand owners, for example, you need certain yeah, product quality in the end.
Okay, so the converters are very clear from the beginning that their capex has to be towards, the machines have to come from where. So in their minds, they already know. Okay, yeah. Understood. Dr. Niemeier, MDO was first developed by Alpine. What are the advantages of this technology, and approximately how many units you would have already sold worldwide and in India?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that we were the first ones who developed MDO technology. It's an older technology, but we entered MDO business. It's meanwhile 25 years. So we were among the blown film suppliers, for example. We were the first, very early, to develop MDO, means machine direction orientation machinery, especially in connection with blown film. Since we are doing blown film only, it was natural that we look at the combination MDO and blown film. And we really we have this technology since more than 20 years, developed it continuously. We already had 10, 12 years back, the first MDO, or maybe 16 years back, the first MDO on the K show. In those times, this was kind of niche market. There were certain applications where MDO technology had really some benefits. So we continuously sold MDO technology over time. At the moment, we really see a boost in MDO technology. So we have requests from all over the world. The situation really changed since maybe 2 or 3 years now.
I agree with you. There's a huge demand for MDO currently in India and of course worldwide. Dr. Niemeier, on what factors would you encourage your customers to buy MDO technology instead of the standard BO technology or the straightforward blown or cast film?
Yeah. The question whether to go for blown or cast film is a very old question. So it's since the beginning of this industry, there are both technology. I would roughly say investment in technology is different. So in the end, cast film line is more expensive. On the other hand, the output is higher. I think the benefit in blown film technology is the flexibility. You are more flexible in terms of the film dimensions, means lay flat width, thickness. You are more flexible in use of different polymers. So you are, from the viscosity point of view, you are more flexible. And also the main difference between cast and blown is, for example, film properties. Due to the biaxial orientation of the blown film in the blown process, you have different mechanical properties. So yeah, in the end, it's the flexibility. And yeah, when it comes to biaxial orientation of film and monoaxial orientation, there are also technical differences. Biaxial orientation, of course, the investment is different. So if you go for a BO, whatever, polyamide, polypropylene line, investment is different. On the other hand, yeah, output is several times higher, but you are not so flexible in terms of recipes, fine-tuning of the film, things like that. And I must also say, biaxial orientation of polyolefins, polyethylene, polyethylene especially, it's still not so common. It's developing, but it's quite new to the market. In biaxial orientation, typical materials are, as I said, polyamide, polyester, polypropylene, stuff like this. In polyethylene, I believe monoaxial orientation has still some advantage, and it's also more flexible in terms of, yeah, the properties you can achieve, thickness, lay flat, play around or fine tune with different types of materials. You know, there's a huge variety of different types of polymers. It's 100 depending on chemistry, density, viscosity. So, and if you can manage this, you have a lot more possibilities with monoaxial orientation.
Thank you so much for explaining that, Doctor. What are the recent innovations in the blown film technology, and what do you think the future trends would be in flexible packaging? Most important question for me.
Yeah. I must say, blown film extrusion technology is quite mature. So on the hardware side, on the steel side, there has been continuous development. So extruder screw technology, winder technology, all this is on a very high level. Having a look, for example, at the last case show, I see that there is a lot of innovation, R&D in digital areas. So digitization of machinery for smart services, artificial intelligence, industry 4.0, how we call it here in Europe. But also for service system, product control. So the most innovations are, meanwhile, I would say in the digital area.
Excellent. And how is your organization gearing up for 4.0 manufacturing, the digital practices, which have become so prevalent currently when our service engineers and our salespeople were actually not able to go to the customer's premises?
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, it's a growing market, but I must say, yeah, about blown film industry, those technologies are available since quite a long time. So for blown film line, it's since many years. Remote access, for example, is, I would say, it's normal. It developed further, but it's possible since many years. So if a customer has some electrical or computer problems, for example, on the machine, to log in from Germany or other countries, to check the machine, to correct things. Of course, we cannot change a fuse or things like that. This has to be done local. But this is, yeah, the blown film industry is a very innovative industry, I would say, and we are dealing with those things quite for a time, but we are still further developing to help the customer or the guy on the machine to better control the processes, to have a look at the process value, to get alarms when the process value is out of control, to have quality control, or also quality documentation is becoming more and more important. And the trend now is to develop additional software for analysis. Is the process under control? To help the customer with, for example, changeover. If you have a blown film line, you are not running one product every day. So the question, how big is the production slot and how many changes you have to do? If you change a blown film structure, it takes time, you create some waste. So one quality aspect is, for example, the waste during changeover you produce. And there's also in the last few years a lot of developments to have assisting systems for changeover, to store settings in the machine, to change faster from one point to the other. So there's a lot of work done, and we are still developing further.
Perfect. So it is, you are already ahead of the game in that digital arena. Dr. Niemeier, your blown film lines will certainly be used for barrier films comprising of materials like nylon and EVOH. What are the implications on the recycling of such films and sustainability?
Yeah, of course, this is true. The recycling of, let me say, high barrier films means films where nylon EVOH is incorporated. This is a topic. So recycling is, yes, there are possibilities, but it's, yeah, let me say, more difficult. Therefore, the industry all over the world is looking for possibilities to better recycle a film, to increase the recycling rate. And yeah, here it comes to the MDO technology. So with the MDO technology, it's possible to go for monomaterial structures. On the one hand, in blown film, if you have a look, there was a development from 1 layer, 3 layer, 5 layer, up to now 9 or 11 layers. Yeah. And there's, since some time now, another trend, not necessarily to reduce the number of layers, but to stick to one material class. Means in that case of MDO, polyethylene. So it's possible to, meanwhile, in lamination structures, to replace, for example, polyester or polyamide with oriented polyethylene. By orientation, polyethylene changes its mechanical properties, also optical properties. It will not become the same like polyester, but you can, for example, increase stiffness. You have influence on water vapor barrier, things like that. So a lot of development is done here on the film structure side. And meanwhile, the technology to have, for example, for pouches, yeah, kinds of food packaging, to use full single material means full PE structures. And when it comes to high barrier, this was, I think, part of your question. There are also possibilities with metallisation of oriented film. So to make use of oxides or metals to cover surface and increase the barrier. And we are also here working since quite some time with partners in the industry, Bob's company, for example, to further develop this technology, oriented film, metallisation for lamination structure.
Yeah. Dr. Niemeier, looks like now, along with food industry, the hygiene and pharma industry will also remain pretty dominant for the next several years. What product applications or lines that cater to this requirement is your organization going to focus on?
Yeah, it's interesting. Or even in this pandemic, we see that customers in the food and hygienic business are still operating at full load. So yeah, this industry is even in the pandemic still going on full speed. We develop different strategies. One thing is, for example, what we see in hygienic packaging. There's a huge market, for example, for diapers. In this market for diaper backsheet, for example, there's a growing interest all over the world to use blown film and MDO technology for these diaper backsheet. You have films with breathable films or non-breathable films, but by orientation you can decrease the film thickness, optimize the mechanical properties, and there is still a lot of cast film on the market, but here also blown film has some, due to the biaxial orientation, blown film has some benefits. And when I was talking about MDO film, a lot of those pouches, lidding film, stuff like this full or monomaterial film structures go also into the food industry. So also food industry is highly interested in this new technology.
Excellent. After Hosokawa and Alpine came together, I think 87, right? What have been the impact of Japanese business practices on your organization?
Yeah, this was a very interesting. It is a very interesting question. Yeah, Japanese culture is I would say I've been traveling a lot. Japanese culture is unique, I would say. It's a very polite culture. The challenge is to understand what was not said. So really to listen carefully and
well said, well put.
Yes, and yeah, we belong since many years to our Japanese mother company. I must say we are very happy to be part of this family. Mr. Hosokawa, the founder, he had a different view from perhaps other Japanese companies. Here in Germany, we have a lot of freedom, I would say. We are not, of course, we have reporting systems, we have regular meetings, and we are in close contact to our mother company, but they do not interfere here in daily business. I would say they have been never disappointed since business here is growing, is solid and stable. Everything was fine for the past, and but having talked to other members of Japanese companies, this is rare to have so much freedom, and we are thankful for this, and it works very well.
Excellent. So we are thankful to Mr. Hosokawa's ideology and his philosophies. Both the cultures have probably merged very well. We can see the product. It's coming out extremely well in the market. Dr. Niemeier, how has been your experience of working in India? What are your marketing plans for the Indian market, and what is the road ahead in India?
India is definitely part of our growth strategy. We invested in last years. We invested in service network, in manpower. We really see a growth for European machinery. Quality demand is rising. Parts of the population are growing, so there is a requirement for flexible packaging, and it's really part of our growth story, and we invested here. Unfortunately, at the moment, due to the pandemic, it's a little bit slower, I would say. But I think everybody is hopeful that it will continue very, very soon. And to catch up with the speed before the pandemic started.
Excellent. I think we are all going to remain optimistic. Are there any plans, even in future, to put up a manufacturing plant here, or not on the blueprint yet?
It's not that we didn't think about it, but there are actually no plans, no.
Okay, thank you for honestly sharing that. And finally, Dr. Niemeier, the pandemic has been a game changer for everyone. What is your advice, and from the learnings that you've had in these past 5 to 6 months with our industry colleagues in India?
Yeah. The learnings. Yeah, I think what everybody learned, it's the role of digital technologies, video, things like that, as we are doing now. So I think communication between partners will change. The role of video communication is different now. Yeah, of course, we have here, we send also our co-workers here in home office. I must say, it works very well. So the art of working changed somehow. I would say the biggest issue at the moment are travel restrictions. As I said, we have global business, we have customers all over the world, and it's very important when traveling is not possible, when you have to go, I don't know, there are countries you don't have access, you can just not travel. Or if you return, you have to go in quarantine. It's not possible to get visa for certain countries. So there are still some countries in the world where you cannot travel. And in those times, it's very important to have local people to continuously support customers there. I think this is very important. And to create more global networks. So I think this was the biggest learning, that international logistics, traveling, and to be prepared and to act more locally.
Yes, localization is something which has been underlined very, very highly by everyone during this pandemic. Thank you so much for this session, Dr. Niemeier. We are thankful to you for sharing your views and the plans of your organization and the focus for India. And hopefully we shall see you soon physically, probably first time in our summit, the Flexible Packaging Summit, which we hopefully should be holding by the end of February, if everything goes well. And we are looking for your organization's great investments in India and great business. Thank you very much. And our viewers will be very happy to receive your message.
Thank you, Nidhi, very much to be part of this, of your series. Also, greetings to all our friends and partners from the industry in India. Yeah, stay healthy, and I hope we will soon, at least, at your event, hopefully soon.
We shall see you soon, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for this.